Hello, 6th grade boys. This is Rabbi Cohen, reading Rashi's from class worksheet 11 and class worksheet 12 for our upcoming quiz on Wednesday. Whatever the date is, I guess February 22nd? Wednesday, February 22nd, 2012. So I'm going to read just the Rashis that are on the class worksheets. It would be best if you took out your class worksheets. You can just push pause now, take out class worksheet 11 so you can follow along which questions I'm doing. But I'm not doing every question on the sheets. I'm just doing the ones that have Rashi involved. So the first question, I believe it's question 4. I'm not sure, but this is Rashi Perek Yud Pasuk Gimel. Here Rashi is discussing, it's Parshat Ba'alotcha, Perek Yud Pasuk Gimel, the trumpets and the purpose of the trumpets. So Rashi says, V'taku bahen, you should blow them, the two trumpets. Rashi says, Bishtehen, with both of them. What happens if you blow both trumpets? Vehu siman lemikra ha'eda, it's a sign to call the nation. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, V'noadu elecha kol ha'eda, all of the nation will gather to you. El petach, petach means the opening of Ohel Moed, the tent of the base of the Mishkan. So basically, if you blew both trumpets at the same time, the sound of a tekiah, that's what the Rashi says, tekiah, do. You blow two trumpets with that one sound, all of the congregation has to meet at Ohel Moed. It's like an emergency or something. Pasuk Daled, Ve'im be'achat yitka'u, Rashi says, and if they only blow one of them with the sound of a tekiah, only one trumpet, it goes do, not two. Rashi says, Hu siman lemikra ha'nisim. That's a sign that we're calling only the nisim, only the 12 leaders, princes of the Bnei Yisrael, leaders of the Shvatim. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, Ve'noadu elecha nisim. They should gather towards you, the nisim. Ve'af hein ye'idasan, and also them, their gathering is el petach Ohel Moed, to the opening of Ohel Moed. Okay, that's as much as we need in that Rashi. Pasuk Hey, utekatem trua. If you blow a tekiah, tekatem, utrua. Trua is do. So if you blow first tekiah, then trua, Rashi says, siman masa hamachanot. This is Rashi Perek Yud Pasuk Hey. It's a sign of the traveling of the camps. Tekiah, trua, utkiah. First a tekiah, do, then a trua, do, and then a tekiah again, do. Kachu nidrash besifri, etc. So Rashi discusses that if you, basically the different sounds that you would have to listen for to know when you have to either gather to the Ohel Moed or if it's time for traveling. Traveling again is tekiah, do, trua, do, and then tekiah again. Okay, moving on. Rashi later on, Pasuk Lamed Gimel, Pasuk 33. We did this Rashi, and Rashi says that when they left Har Sinai, Rashi says Pasuk Lamed Gimel 33. They left Har Sinai. Derech Shloshet Yamim. It was a 3-day journey. Mahalech Shloshes Yamim. It was a 3-day walk or a 3-day going. Halchu beyom echad. But they did it in one day. Shehaya Kadosh Baruch Hu chafetz, because Hashem was wanting and desiring la'achnisam, to enter them la'aretz, to the land miyad, immediately. So Rashi says that Hashem did very nice things to them. He made a 3-day journey take 1 day to make them go in quickly. But as we know, the Jews left Har Sinai. Rashi doesn't say this, it's in the Gemara. They left Har Sinai like a child leaving school. And Hashem was a little bit upset about that. And that leads us to the next Rashi, Pasuk Lamed Hey. All of a sudden, after they leave Har Sinai, it talks again about the traveling, even though the traveling was in Perek Tet. That was something earlier. But here at the end of Perek Yud, it talks about the Jews traveling again. Rashi, Pasuk Lamed Hey, Vayehi bin Soa Aaron, and when the Aaron would travel. Rashi says, Asa lo simanim, it made for him simanim, our signs. Remember we saw in the Chumash those nuns, those backward nuns? It made signs, or like brackets almost. Milafanav, before this section, umela acharav, and after the section. Lomar, to tell you, she'ein ze mekomo, this is not the place where it belongs, this section about the Jews traveling. Velama nichtav kan, why was it written here? Rashi says, Pasuk Lamed Hey, again, Perek Yud Lamed Hey, Kedei lahafsik, to separate, bein puranut, separate between bad news, lepuranut, to other bad news. Kedeisa, as it's brought down, bechol kisvei HaKodesh, that's just the Gemara. So, the point is that this section, the end of Perek Yud, talks about the Jews traveling again, and how when they traveled, Moshe would say, Kuma Hashem, and when they stopped traveling and they settled, Moshe Rabbeinu would say, Shuva Hashem. The fact that Moshe said these things during traveling, that should have been taught in Perek Tes, when we talked about how the Jews traveled with the cloud and the fire. Why was it all the way in the end of Perek Yud? Because he wanted to separate between the negative story of the Jews leaving Har Sinai like children leaving school, and the next story, which we're going to get to soon, about the complainers, about how they complained about different things, the man, as well as the long journey. Okay, only a few more Rashis left. Perek Tet, we're going back to for a second, chapter 9, Pasuk Yud Chet. The reason why we're going back now, because now that we see the full picture of what the Jews did when they traveled, we're going to see Rashi, he summarizes everything in Perek Tet, chapter 9, Pasuk Yud Chet. He summarizes the traveling of the Jews. So let me turn my page here, and of course it's stuck, and now it's moving. Okay, Perek Yud Chet, here we go. Perek Tet. Al pi Hashem yiso, on the mouth of Hashem they will travel. Perek Tet Pasuk Yud Chet. Shaninu b'Melechas HaMishkan, we learnt in Melechas HaMishkan, that's a perek. Kevan shehayu Yisrael nosim, when the Jews would travel, haya amud he'anan, the cloud, the standing cloud, mitkapel, that's going to be an important word to know, would fold, v'nimshach al gabe Yehuda, and it would go on Yehuda, not Yehuda Davis, but the tribe of Yehuda. Kimin Korah, like a beam. Tiku v'hariyu v'tiku. Then they would blow the tkiya, do, then trua, do, and then tkiya again. V'lo yamalach, it would not leave ad shemoshe omer, until Moshe would say Kuma Hashem. Until Moshe would say Kuma Hashem, then nasadach degel machane Yehuda. Then Yehuda would leave. So this Rashi is key because it summarizes everything for us. It tells us there were 3 steps in traveling. I believe this is question 9 or 10 in class worksheet 11. Basically, there were 3 steps. The first thing was, hey, look, the cloud. It folded up and went on top of Yehuda. Would they travel then? No. Step 2, they hear the tkiya, trua, tkiya. Hey, should we travel yet? No. Step 3, Moshe Rabbeinu says, Kuma Hashem. Please, let's go Hashem, and then they start going. And then the next Rashi in Pasuk Yud Chet, same place, Al pi Hashem yachnu, on the mouth of Hashem they will settle, they will camp. Kevan shehayu Yisrael chonim, when the Jews would camp, Amud he'anan, the pillar, the cloud, the pillar of clouds, mitamer ve'oleh, would spread out and go up, v'nimshach al gabe bnei Yehuda, and once again would spread over the, would be dragged over the bnei Yehuda, kemin sukkah, like a canopy, ve'lo haya nifrash, and it would not totally settle ad shemoshe omer, till Moshe would say Shuva Hashem, Revos Yisrael. So we see that there were 2 steps only in camping. No shofar, no trua blowing, no trumpet blowing. Step 1, the cloud would fold up. Would open up over Yehuda. Step 2 was that Moshe Rabbeinu would say Shuva Hashem. Okay, just 3 little Rashis left. This is class worksheet 12, a very short sheet. Perek Yud Aleph, Pasuk Aleph. All of a sudden the Torah says about these complainers, they were very upset. What were they complaining about, and who were these people? So Rashi says, Perek Yud Aleph, chapter 11, Pasuk Aleph, Vayiham kimitonenim. The nations were mitonenim. So Rashi says, it's actually the second Rashi. Let me make sure. I'm sorry. Yes, Rashi, actually the third Rashi. Ra be'oznei Hashem. What were they complaining about? Something ra, bad, in the ears of Hashem. Rashi says, I'm just skipping the first 5 words till the word amru. Amru, they said, Oy lonu, woe unto us. Kama lavatnu baderech, how much we have pained ourselves and hurt ourselves on the way, hazeh, baderech hazeh. Shlosha yamim, traveling for 3 days, which I guess was a 9-day journey. Shelo nachnu, we haven't rested, me'inui haderech, from the pain of the way. So that's what their complaint was. What was Hashem's reaction? Next Rashi, same Pasuk Aleph, Vayicharapo. Please try to look inside. Rashi says, Divrei hamatchil vayicharapo. His nostrils got angry. Ani ayiti mitkaven letovatam. Mitkaven, kavana means intentions. My intentions were letovatam, for their good. Shetichnasu la'aretz miyad, to enter the land of Israel immediately. And Rashi continues, who were these people that complained? One more Rashi in Pasuk Aleph, Biktzei hamachane, the edge, the outskirts of the camp, bemuktzin shebahem, the ones that were on the set aside of them, l'shvelus, on the lower level, elu erev rav, these are erev rav. I didn't want to focus on the first answer of Rashi. I like his second answer better. Rabbi Shimon ben Menashe, Omer Rabbi Shimon, he's quoting, ben Menashe says, bekatsinim shabahem, of the separate ones, the great separate ones of them, extremely good ones, who bigdolim, the great ones, they were the ones who complained, the great ones. That's the answer I want you to know, the second answer of Rashi. Not the erev rav, that's going to be later complaining about the man. The ones who complained about the path, don't write down erev rav, I'll give you half credit on. The ones who complained about the journey, not erev rav, but rather the great ones of the nation. Probably, maybe the Nisim, I'm not sure. Anyhow, Pasuk Bet, last Rashi, Vayitzak ha'am el Moshe, the reaction of the people was to cry to Moshe. Why Moshe? Says Rashi, Mashal, it's a story, a parable. Lamelech basar v'dam, a king, sheka'as al beno, that got angry on his son. V'halach haben, and the son went, Eitzel Oavo, to the friend of the king, Shel Aviv. V'amarlo, and he said to him, Tzei, go out, ubakesh alai me'aba, and ask Abba for forgiveness. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful Shabbos. My son is getting into the video. See you later. Good luck.